Welcome back, everybody, to another day of the LCK here. It is Friday, and we do have the telecom war going head-to-head here, T1 versus KT. And it's an interesting one, too, because T1 kind of in that struggle phase where, you know, they're on the left side of the bracket. They're still doing okay. The record is good, but they've had some weak moments, you know, dropping a game to Hama Life recently being one of them. And KT really fighting for that playoff spot.
Yeah, and KT, I mean, they really need to win here today. T1 as well, but T1 I feel like less so than KT. I feel like because of the way that the top three is right now, yes, every single win really does matter, but T1 has been floundering around. They're still probably going to end up in playoffs, almost surely, but there definitely is some issues going on. Like you mentioned, dropping the game to Hanwha Life is very scary. Their drafts need no introduction. You can find them in a Stephen King book. So, points of the match. Two teams with concrete goals face each other. T1 looking to join the top contenders versus KT, who's desperate to reach the playoffs. So, a little bit more in it for them. KT's currently 2-1 in round 2. Can they showcase the KT and Summer split by taking down T1? And I feel like that is going to be a pretty big feat to do so. We'll see if they manage to do it.
I mean, they defeated Sandbox and Team Dynamics, which are a couple of teams that they're kind of still in the running, right? But I think that KT at this moment in time are a bit better than them. They did go down to DRX, but they took a game off of DRX, which is obviously pretty good news for that lineup. I think if they can take a game off of DRX, they can definitely take a game off of T1, depending on how this comes out. As an intense tool in the top lane is expected, Kana, who can create a solo kill using Camille with Cleanse, versus Soan, who delivered a solo kill to the Rich King.
In the bottom one, modified starting lineup rises to the surface. Faker is on the bench.
Yeah.
For this game.
Hide on bench today, man.
Hide on
Feels
bench
bad.
As it looks like T1, you know, closer in baseball is that's a role.
Yes.
That is.
Yeah, I do know that. I follow sports ball very well myself.
Well, I didn't know with you, you know. It's always a game of chance. Team stats, KDA, T1 is 3rd in the league. They are sort of KDA Kyles in the sense that they do not like to fight all that often. As apparent, now both of these teams actually don't like to fight all that often. Kill count per minute, extremely low. First blood percentage, they are sort of neck and neck.
Yeah.
And win rate with First Blood, they're also sort of neck and neck. This is truly a telecom war, which I don't know if T1 fans feel that good about, given KT's level of play so far here in Summer.
Yeah, but, you know, it's only a couple of games apart for the two of them, so absolutely will be interesting. Obviously, a lot of eyes are going to be on the mid lane for this one. We already talked about how Faker's not going to be starting today. It will be Closer, who did recently come of age, and so he will be able to play in pro play. I'm expecting a lot from him, to be honest. You know, there's not a lot of people that can just come in and replace Faker, obviously, but the T1 organization, I think, does a really great job of raising up their rookies and the people in the team house, and it makes them into really great players. So I'm excited to see what Closer has to show us today. As here on the other side, no Smeb support, nothing too out of the ordinary here for KT.
And we'll see how they can utilize Red Side versus T1 in this series. Closer coming in is going to be very interesting. He doesn't really need that much of an introduction if you've been following Reddit or any of the highlight clips on YouTube elsewhere. He's a insanely mechanical player that finally is going to be debuting here. Key player matchup, however, will be between Kana and Soan. And which Kana are we going to get today? There's sort of a rocks, paper, scissors going on with him, where he'll either hard carry, hard lose, or just sort of be passable.
Yeah, that kind of just sounds like he's all over the place.
He really is.
Yeah, which generally we call inconsistency, and it's not something you really like out of a top laner. You know, if it's like, I don't know, if it's one of the other roles, I feel a little bit more comfortable, but in the top lane, I feel like if you're just getting pummeled, you know, occasionally, randomly, that's generally not too good. As I feel like Soan is kind of on the same page. There were days early on in summer and even spring where it was like, wow, his Kennen is actually really good. But then there were other days where it's like, wow, where's Smeb?
Yeah.
And that's generally, not what you want to be asking. As you can see here, guys, Closer born 2003. He is 17 years old. He is just now able to play in professional play here in Korea and across the board, actually, I think, for all Riot Major Leagues. And so, really exciting moments. This could be the start of an amazing career for a new player, especially coming from the T1 organization. I think it deserves a little bit more, I don't know, we're looking forward to it a little bit more. And so we'll have to wait and see how he does, as he will be up against Kuro here.
Yeah, and this is going to be very interesting. The questions, obviously, in a lot of people's minds are, well, is he going to play the whole series? Is he only in here for game number 1? Why are T1 doing this? Given the standings of the league right now, why not just use Faker, etc.?
Yeah.
And hopefully we get some answers to that in game number 1 so that we can use results bias in order to make up entire conclusions on the future of T1.
Yeah, and we also need to decide right now whether Closer is going to be a good player or not.
Yeah.
Based off his first game.
It. We got
yeah.
One game. Valdez.
Maybe not even the whole game.
If he wins, he'll have 2.
Let's see the laning phase first.
Yeah.
Then I might be, ready to write him off right away. I know there's going to be a Reddit thread already that's just going to come right out and be like, who is this guy? Put Faker back in.
Well,
but yeah, we do have to give him a little bit of a leash, seriously. I mean, he's very new, he's extremely young. And we're just here to kind of test the waters, see what he's got. And that's really all we can hope for. But all those points you said about, the current standing in the league are very important to note as well.
Well, here we go. We're getting into this one. T1 on the blue side. What is going to be their first ban? It'll be interesting to see how they... Don't scare me like that. Yeah. It'll be surprising to see how they try to approach the ban phase here and what kind of champions they're going to pick now with Closer in the lineup, because a lot of questions surrounding, well, what is the depth of his champion pool in a competitive environment as opposed to solo queue. Karthus is going to get banned away. I'm glad that he's finally getting attention that he deserves.
Yeah. Like immediately the next series we see, he's like first phase ban after, of course, last night where Canyon from Damwon was able to crush the dreams of DRX.
And Bard is the final ban. So let's see what T1 opens with a B1. Watch it be. There it is.
Yeah.
Tried, true, and tested, I guess, is what Foley is doing. KT now immediately responding with Ashe and Olaf. So they have a Ditto right now. The problem is that if Olaf doesn't get ahead of Volibear, he's always going to have a bad time. And the Ashe has to maintain lane dominance down there in bot. So let's take a look at what T1 are going to try to do and how they're going to go about approaching this. Seeing a lot of diversity. Are they really just going to Zyra Khan? And it looks like that is going to be the B2, B3. Now, this is coming in blind, which means KT, they could just smack it with a mage support.
Morgana. Here we go, right now, Morgana, throw it down.
You know, if this was Sully 1 Prince, I would say that even Zyra in a spot like this would be quite nice, but no, KT covering Kennen. I guess they want to lock that in.
Yeah, I was talking about Soan's Kennen. You were talking about champion pools. He's definitely one of the players here in the LCK that is very, I think, predictable in terms of what kind of champions we're going to be seeing out of him. He plays a lot of Kennen, and so they are going to prioritize that for him.
And bans. Galio is going to be taken away. Azir now removed from the table by T1. The thing about T1's team comp right now is all of their champions have to go in to the opponents. Now, fortunately for them, the Xayah is getting a little bit of benefit against the Kennen, but Ashe leaves a little bit more room to pivot away from the themes of the team compositions, whereas The other 5 surrounding champions don't really have alternate modes. So we'll see what KT tries to do here on R4. I think ideally you just pick your support and try to counter pick. If they pick a Tom Kench, I'm going to be very angry.
Well, it's already banned, so.
Oh, it was the final ban.
They denied that so that we could have
R4
Renekton.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Lost sight. Ooh, Valdez.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Morgana's been a long-standing
Lux is fine.
Counter to Rakan, but the Lux is very interesting coming out here. Another decent counter into the Rakan.
And now Zoe being hovered right now. An interesting thing here would actually be a Lux pivot into mid lane, which is entirely possible here because Lux does, in a vacuum, answer Zoe. And they will have that option at least available to them if they want to utilize it. So Lux, in a weird way, is now given flex potency because of how T1 just picked. The Zoe now is going to try to go neck and neck against the Ashe. And okay, well, T1, they are going all in. The Zoe's the one champion that's off theme with the other remaining champions, but Zoe's one of the best no-theme champions in the game, and that can sort of stand her own. And all right, Orianna is going to come in. This is a lot of magic damage, but look at T1's team composition and ask yourself, well, how do they really get access to magic resistance without compromising their build? And it's not the easiest thing to really do, especially for Xayah. So we'll see what is going to end up happening here. Both of these teams are trying to go in at their opponent. I feel like there's a little bit more terrain control offered by Lux Orianna and obviously Ashe than anything T1 has a response to, but T1's hard on engage, it does still have a bit of explosiveness. If T1 falls behind, I think it's probably just lights out, because there's so many avenues that KT's comp has available to it to operate at different stages of the game and in different manners with poke, siege, zone control, and all the other things. T1, they're going to be scaling up. Xayah takes a lot of while to come online. Vladimir needs a lot of time. See what they can end up doing with it and how Closer's going to perform here on this Zoe.
Yeah, I think that's really important to note. We have so many amazing Zoes in the LCK, guys. Just an unbelievable plethora. There's like so many great players of Zoe, even on teams that aren't on the west side of the bracket. So this is definitely a champion where we have a lot of high expectations based off of the level of play that we've seen. So it's definitely not just an easy, feel-good champion coming in here for Closer to make his debut, which just gets me even more excited. So let's see what he is going to be able to do here as we do hop onto the Rift. Get the zoom in here onto this Zoe skin.
Zoe looks like a squid. Look at her shadow. Right? Kind of like kind of like a squid.
Well,
is a squid.
Kind of looks like a fish, but if I just look at the shadow. Yeah.
You ever realize that? Look at that. Xayah does not look like a bird.
No, like her cape is like feathers. Which sometimes throws me off because the cape is like twice the size of her body.
Yeah.
She's definitely like ultra thin on the map.
You have to wonder why a bird would want that.
Why would a bird want
why would a bird want such an oversized cape?
Well, I think really most birds are actually, if you look at the size, most of it is actually their feathers. I don't know if you've ever...
Thank you about that.
I don't know if you've... I'm no ornithologist here, but I think that's the the term for a bird person.
All right.
Shout out to bird person, by the way. Big fan. Well, I'm very curious to see a couple of things in this game. The Lux support coming out here from Tucson obviously is really fun to see. We don't see it all that often, the mage supports, but up against Rakan, I think the players are a little bit more, relaxed and willing to do something like that.
This is really weird looking at the runes. Kuro going for Scorch, and you have to know that you're going to be up against Teleport on Zoe. And so there's no real way to get a meaningful advantage with that rune. And just in the later stages of the game, you're losing so much EHP as well anytime you place a shield on a teammate, and you're losing AP values that Gather and Storm would have otherwise given. Effort on Rakan, 15-3, 83.3% win rate, 6.0 KDA. Only got 9 kills. Imagine being his victim in those games. Why
Only
not 10?
9 kills.
Yeah.
Wow.
True support player here.
Yeah, and when I think about Effort, I do absolutely think of Rakan and also Leona. I think those are two of his big champions that he's kind of gotten a name for himself on.
Yeah.
Sure.
We'll see what everyone can manage to do here. Cuz is going for a pretty bizarre path.
He saw Spirit yesterday.
Yeah, well, the dynamics of the lane are entirely different. So
yeah, well, we don't pay attention to that.
So Olaf is going to actually find himself with quite a nice position in this game. So you can see that Cuz, he paths up into top lane, but the dynamics of this lane, there was no real kill that would be possible. And so now, Olaf going to come over here. Bono making a little bit of a peculiar route here, but he's going to be able to run through mid because Kuro has priority. And he should be able to get the right side Scuttle Crab. So Bono's still going to be ahead in the jungle. Bot lane is shoved in. And with mid lane being shoved in, it's going to be a pretty free pickup. Now, the Gromp Wolves, Raptors, and Golems, they're all going to respawn first for Bono, and he can just keep power farming. So this is why, because his route is a little bit peculiar, because everything is just sort of not really aligned with the lanes.
It's not very efficient either in terms of jungle clear. So there's definitely that.
Ooh.
And
didn't get the plate.
Yeah, very close. It's about 13 health based on my expert calculations. We saw that Bono was just hanging out with the dragon that's not spawned yet. He's waiting, but he got stood up. So he'll have to wait about 35 seconds for that to come up here. There's definitely a lot of eyes on Closer. So far the lane seems to be going okay for him.
Yeah, he's already teleported back to the lane, but Kuro is there as well. Has the cleanse on himself right now in this game. Went for the mana route, and Effort is going to whiff on the knock-up attempt. Cuz is down here. Ooh, that clipped aiming.
Why did he stand in that? Oh, man.
Well,
he was so focused on trying to kite and auto the enemy laner that he just stood in the ability.
This is also one of the bizarre things here. So Bono, he comes down to the river brush. He clears out the ward, but you know that Volibear's not going to still be in there, and so now he's stunting his own jungle clears. He's level 5, but you have to ask yourself, why is it necessary for him to come down to the right-hand side and do these things when his laners are all pretty self-sufficient as it is, and he's just losing a lot of opportunity to keep killing the camps and getting them to respawn at higher levels, and then just hitting that level 9 breakpoint, because the onus isn't on them to really force anything. Nice snare.
Oh, the heal has to come out here from Effort, as here comes Cuz. The flash comes in, but the immediate teleport from the top lane. And Olaf is here too, as Zoan gonna get a very nice ultimate. Down will go Teddy, and the Vlad ultimate is not gonna do anything as they're looking for Effort. There's the flash axe as Bono puts him in the death chamber. As aiming gonna get incredibly low, nearly dies to the cannon. Bono gets a triple kill, but here comes Closer, looking to clean it up as the Zoe does. He's gonna get 2. And, well, he misses that, but it doesn't matter, as the more sparkles will pick up a triple for the debuting mid laner of T1.
Yeah, and he picks up a flash as well. And Kuro now on the flip side just trying to shove in the minion wave. So what isn't being shown on the camera is that Zoe does lose a couple of waves, but Teddy's there to pick it up immediately off the rotation. So Closer really salvaging that bot lane state. And at the end of it, we're going to be dead even throughout everything. But Bono did get 3 kills. So now with the Cinderhulk, we'll see what he can do to try to power ahead of the Volibear and do something meaningful. Both top laners really getting a little bit of the action here. Oh! Hey, That's rude.
Speaking of action, Tucson's not
Oh,
done.
he's going to stop him again.
Yeah,
This
it
is
is
actually
E.
really bad for the Zoe. So let's take a look at how this all happens. Snare by Lux. It's really brutal for T1 to try to play this, and this is why Zaya Rakan, when it comes in early, it can get answered. The lightning misses by Cuz, and this is T1 forcing things because they feel a little bit under pressure because all the lanes are getting a little neutralized. Teleport comes in from Soan. Axes by Bono really on point, and at this point, they could just disengage and try to run away, but Rolster... Yeah. Well... Nonetheless, triple kill for Closer.
So Kuro was following him down,
Yeah.
and then he was like, "Oh yeah, my team won the fight. I can go back to mid lane." And then he sees Zoe, and he's like, "Oh crap, I gotta go back."
Oh.
I don't know what Effort's doing here.
What is he? Hello? They are sitting out of their minds right now. I just want to point that out, by the way. I don't really.
What?
I'm not.
Well, there's no flash on aiming, so maybe they were like, we can force. We have so much CC, we can just kill the Ashe, but not when you do that.
Yeah. And so KT.
Yeah.
They find themselves with the Ocean Dragon. Their lanes are all still really good. And remember, T1's comp, it needs a lot of gold until it comes online. But even when it does, there's so much zone control by Oriana's ball, by Lux. The shield is so nuts against Vladimir's engage. It's going to be really hard to play. I don't know how Teddy is expected to enter fights. This was the weirdest thing in the world. I wish I could come up with something that he was trying to do. But I really can't. Cuz keeps running down into bot lane. Both of these junglers really just going a bit more aggressive rather than letting the lanes do their own thing. Obviously, bot lane for T1 does need a bit of help due to the dynamic, but not the end of the world. Rift Herald's going to be picked up right now by T1.
It's on Vision too.
Yeah.
But you can see that the bottom lane here of T1 is going to be in position before the bottom lane of KT.
Ana's
the Lux, the Lux is going to get in range maybe for a laser, but with Bono backing away, it looks like they just want to give that one up.
Remember, Ash Arrow, it's going to be up soon, and aiming. He can shoot that from downtown if they would want to, but no, they're going to just give it up.
Yeah.
Tushin looking for a snipe onto Teddy. Oh. That's a lot of damage. That's not very nice.
Half health.
Yeah.
He's got mana. He's got a refillable, so.
The thing I learned from Pokemon is that flying types don't really like electricity.
That's true.
Yeah, Lux is definitely
Lux
super...
electricity?
I think...
Or is she like holy damage? No, she's like sun damage, right?
So you're going a little bit too far with this.
Or what is a laser, really?
It's a spark, isn't it? Isn't the title Spark?
Yeah, well,
Spark is electricity.
And based off of Pokemon as well, like they use their, they make it very obvious what the type of the, through the name is what the type of the ability is. So yeah, I think we'll have to concede that point and say that it is lightning impact.
So Pikachu took a bite out of Pidgeotto down there. That's what just happened.
Okay. I don't mind it.
2 minutes until Mountain Dragon. KT has a slight advantage right now. And remember, I mean, this is a pretty normal thing. KT should have slight gold edge, so it's nothing to lose your minds about. But a minute and a half until Mountain Dragon will end up coming up. And we shall see what T1 is going to manage to do at that point. And also, will Closer actually have his core item completed by then? I would assume so. Darkseal picked up on Kuro. I actually really like that purchase at this point in time because you know that a fight is about to be brewing. And so you can look to try to get some stacks on it. You get to 6, just convert it into a Mage Eyes, and you'll be having a pretty good time on that front.
Yeah, I think it's something we need to see more. Players preparing for the imminent fight that is about to take place. And did he really just sneak through here? Yeah, he did. But somehow, Soan able to feel the pressure. Closer is coming up here. And it's kind of an awkward spot here. He's taking a lot of axes, and now with the Ragnarok, he's going to try to run on him. Closer will flash away. Soan in a little bit of trouble. That's going to be a missed Paddle Star. And now another heal. going to have to be picked up. By the way, 3 heals in total. 1 from Closer, 1 from, I guess, Kana, who had it with his Unsealed Spellbook, and then picked up again by Closer.
Bono just going to clear out this ward. Oblivion Orb picked up by Soan. And I feel like that is really a surprising purchase at this point in time, but I guess it's going to give him the most power at this... Well, actually, no, it's not even giving him the most power. He could get more power out of getting Sword Pen Boots. It would get more magic penetration, and then just holding an Amp Tome would actually give him more. So I feel like this is very surprising for the Mountain Drake. It's not as optimized as it could be, but he's probably going to shove in top lane and then run down to Dragon. No, he's going to actually stay up in top lane. I have no idea what's going on, Valdez. I apologize.
Yeah, I don't know. He's got Unsealed Spellbook too. That's a lot of Paddle Stars, by the way, that Closer is missing. Maybe he's feeling a little bit nervous. Trying to line it up here. That's not going to land on the Kuro, and unfortunately, with no follow-up from the Zoe, Kuro will live. Didn't even have to flash. And I have to say, Closer did look a little bit better earlier on in the game. And he was able to clean up kind of the free 3 kills down in the bottom side.
The thing about this for Soan is that Mountain Dragon is so important against the enemy team because Vladimir doesn't like to have to build Magic Pen, and every little bit of resistance is just all the more important against this T1 all-in comp. Aiming, gonna flash away from the quickness, but it brings you 2 Drakes into Soul Point. Just a very important pickup, and at this game timer as well, you're looking to just open up the game immediately after that dragon is captured. Oh no, here we go.
Yeah, they're going to force the Ragnarok. That's another missed Paddle Star as he's not able to follow up there. He's able to hit the bubble this time around, but again, not able to bridge the distance onto Kuro. I feel like you've got this bed Zoe. She needs to be doing the damage, right? Teddy's not really online right now. You need your mid laner to be doing it. Kana's not going to do it. And that's going to kind of give up the river here over to the side of KT, who will take this free Drake. T1 just going to back away and hand it over.
And, well, this is going to buy a lot of time. And so for champions that didn't yet have their item spike, like Orianna, very stunted actually at this fight. Just has the Lost Chapter and a Dark Seal. Zoe was very powerful at this fight. Kuro's going to go back, still doesn't have enough for the Ludens. And actually, I'm really surprised here that he's not going Seraph's Embrace. We've seen this a lot in EU. When the opponents have a lot of hard-on engage, you want the Seraph's Embrace, not just, not just for the active, but also the AP ratio converts into a lot of EHP with your shield. So you get Seraph's Embrace, the active is insane against Vladimir, it's insane right as you go to sleep against Zoe, or any sort of attempted engage by Volibear, and it really helps you in team fights. But when you end up getting Death Cap later, the extra AP that item has gets amplified that much more, and it converts to a lot of EHP in the team fight with multiple E-casts on teammates. So a little bit surprising by Kuro not electing for that, but he's been doing a pretty good job in the game. And like you're pointing out, Closer with the 3-0 start, it's a little bit difficult to find a lot going on in this game. Everything has been pretty safe and sturdy. T1, on the flip side though, they're rolling pretty good. Cloud Drake came up. Not the best thing if you're a KT fan.
Oh yeah. Infernal would have been quite nice. Definitely have a nice amount of damage there. Although, I suppose the Infernal would have been part of the problem if they started to lose their grip on the game as well. If a bunch of Infernals went into the hands of T1. Could have been quite dangerous going up against Vlad, Zoe, Xayah. But either way, right now, KT kind of in control of this one, although we do have a bunch of turrets falling here. Bottom is going to go the way of KT, but mid goes the way of T1. So definitely a nice win for them there, as Shirley's not going to get much value. Might get another charge here, though. And meanwhile, Kana pushing the top lane, and because of all that pressure with the 2 members of KT down on bottom side, they're losing a little bit of help up in the top 2 lanes.
Well, we'll see what KT is going to do. Now, the top tier turret falling creates opportunities that are a bit Voldemort to speak about. KT's not. Yeah, we don't mention it. Ooh.
It's summer, by the way.
It is.
No ice here.
All right.
Yeah.
Well.
You'd have to go to the OPL for that.
Yeah.
If you want some ice in the summer.
And 2 minutes until Cloud Dragon is going to be coming up. Zoe's going to go for the Proto Belt second. Ashe just continuing on, getting attack speed items. Xayah still very far away from really being a super power threat. And what I really hope to see out of KT as this game progresses is don't just fall into the mindset that Kennen has to run into the opponents with Olaf backing him up with an Orianna ball attached to him. They can zone control endlessly with Ori and Ashe. We got a bit of a fight.
Oh, that missed Q is big for Zoan. He might be just dead here. One more empowered Q, and that's going to be the end of that. Suppose he didn't expect to be found in the brush. That was definitely a little bit of a weird start to that fight, as now Ragnarok has to be blown here. And there's no objectives right now, so it's just little wins going towards T1, but it's definitely not a good sign for KT.
No, and I mean, that's just a very big pickup for Kana on this flat. Okay, well, he's done. Yeah, well, you know, I mean, it was a nice pickup, and then all of a sudden it was and it's just sort of like one of those days where, you know, you wake up and everything's just starting to go wrong.
Yeah, you end up, you know, you start with a headache, and it's a little bit of a headache now for Kuro. He's going to get flashed on. The Volibear ultimate will be very effective. Super effective, even as Effort is he's gonna stay alive.
What happened to the turret?
Yeah, the turret just kind of gave up.
Oh,
okay.
Okay. Cool.
And by the way, that was the second turret.
Oh!
Well, not fast enough with Pikachu.
Yeah.
With the Morellos. With the Morellos,
should have evolved
it makes sense. Up against the Vlad, and I suppose the Volibear. So this time around, it's not as egregious as other Morello timings.
And, well, at this point in the game, KT, they're just going to keep taking things slow. Cloud Dragon is available. Now, here's the Warmog for Bono. What I really hope to see, one of these days, is the Locket of the Iron Solar you picked up.
탑 싸운다. 탑 누군지 알려줘.
Let me know who's coming top.
나이스.
Nice. And then right here, I mean, this is a pretty bread and butter pickup. It's actually going to be T1 getting the Cloud Dragon. So that is nice for them. It buys them a lot of time to continue to scale. I'm not going to lie to you and pretend that 10% CDR on any of their ults is that important. It's not.
No.
And yeah, I'm really curious what happened here with the turret. So it's on Effort. There's no way he wasn't in range.
The angle, he was so far up against the wall, I think, that he
Yeah.
actually just angled it really nicely.
It really looked like that was going to be a 1-for-1. Aiming picks up the red buff. And these are always the scariest kind of LCK games because it's going to come down to one fight, and that'll dictate pretty much the entire game. So, Volibear has a little bit of Build-A-Bear going on in his kit, or in his build right now. Effort managing to dodge that volley. And everything else just really slow and steady. Not a whole lot happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's 10th and 9th teams in the LCK for champion kills, so we weren't exactly coming into this one expecting a ton of action and fireworks to be flying. This isn't a, you know, Domlin versus DRX style of game just yet. And I think the comps kind of lead us to that as well. But definitely because these teams weren't being very proactive at the same time. We just really haven't had much action. Effort trying to get aggressive here, put down some vision for what he can around the Baron. Neither of these teams really going to make a play towards Baron this early on in the game unless they get a big ace. So kind of just waiting for that next Cloud Drake in 3 minutes.
Well, it's a lot of slow and steady scaling going on here. And honestly, it's been a while, but I think that we are currently in another episode of Forbidden Love.
Yeah.
Right now, I definitely think that is what
it has been a while.
It really has.
Yeah.
And you know,
but that's good. Just makes the love grow stronger.
Yeah, just really. I mean, this is where we get the ashes of creation. This is what.
What?
This is where we weave that one in.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
It definitely
we'll see.
does.
We'll see. Still waiting on that Riot MMO, by the way.
Yeah.
It's forever waiting. You know that meme with the skeleton that's like sitting on the chair is like still waiting.
I actually just used that this past weekend.
Yeah.
Oh man. Oh, it was
very pertinent to this discussion we're having about MMOs.
Definitely.
Yeah. Still waiting, Riot. Maybe someday. I understand it's a big investment, but as an MMO fan myself, that would be the dream.
Whoa!
Oh, that was okay.
Okay, honestly.
Nice maneuvering from Closer. And I like that KT are actually trying to set up something, right? This isn't just, well, the Cloud Drake spawns in 2 minutes, and I'm going to take the Krugs and then push the lane. And then when the enemy team pushes into me, I'm going to push the lane back.
That's, well, we are playing ping pong.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. There are no frozen waves. There are no ways to set up ganks.
No one is actually freezing waves, and it's really sad because the approach potential by some of these teams to catch side laners that are forced to walk up is just so obvious. And instead, I mean, we all got hot dates. I mean, we are in the summer, so we got places to be. It is imperative for Vladimir to immediately shove this wave back in so that Kennen can get the next wave. Now, it would be a cardinal sin to not do this about 2 times and thus effectively kill your opponent through gold gained in terms of net difference and EXP. But yeah, Kennen's going to get all those minions that he otherwise would not have been able to get.
Or be forced into a position where he's not, you know, safe. He can farm the pushed wave in a very safe spot, so there's no risk to him. And we have some pretty defensive itemization, too. The Banshee's picked up here by Orianna. That's not too out of the ordinary, but also QSS for the Ashe, just to make sure he can deal with the engage. And speaking of which, Sowan will be forced to flash away. And that is all the action we have in store for you tonight.
And you see, some of the Orianna E's, you really, in spots like this, wish that you just had Seraphs in order to give larger shields to your teammates, especially.
They're going in.
Yeah.
They're not wasting any time as the Featherstorm is down, but Teddy desperately trying to kite it out, but he cannot. And finally, the rest of T1 is going to come in. But the Ashe getting so much value. Sowan, though, kind of baiting his team into this one. Kana in the backline aiming. In the front is just going to get blown up. As now Bono can't do it alone. The triple kill goes to Cuz, who is untouchable. The Closer not going to be able to find Kuro on the way out, but somehow KT started that one so nicely, and all of a sudden threw it all away.
Yeah, that was one of the biggest counter throws I think I've ever seen in such a short time span. So KT, I mean, we're going to see it in the replay for sure, but this is going to be T1 now, getting themselves the Baron. I can't imagine a world where they would ever lose this. Let's take a look at how this all transpires. So Teddy going on a bit of an adventure, being forced to use Featherstorm. That was a beautiful cleanse on the Ashe ultimate. Bono finds his way in there. Rakan on the quickness, not able to do anything against the Ragnarok. Lux Laser misses, and for some unholy reason,
5v3 now.
KT, Tushin leading the charge as support Lux. I mean, it doesn't even look real, the level of throw that this is. They funnel in like flies with their weakest champions first for no reason.
And then Sowan with like 30% health is like, I'm just going to all-time unkillable right straight into Fed Zoe and Vlad, who is level 16, by the way, just casually in this game.
And I mean, this is the point in the game where Vladimir is really scary. They've finally hit that item break point. He has 3 items. Zoe as well, almost at 3 items. Xayah almost at 3 items herself. And things are looking pretty good for them. So take this in addition to the fact that KT are losing to Shopkeeper. Not in the sense that they're buying necessarily atrocious items, they're just not buying the right things that they actually need. It's like going to an electronics store and just getting the wrong things. You know, it's not the best.
Okay. That's the pool that counters one ultimate ability. The Ashe. As the game comes along, of course, the arrow's not going to have nearly as much utility. So many items that will be used to eventually counter it. Effort is really, he's going on walks. The bottom lane of T1 do not look very clean tonight, I have to say. And got to be careful about that here. You're in a good spot now with your scaling. You have Xayah and Vlad online. You have your fed Zoe. And everything's looking pretty nice here with the Baron push coming through. Still a minute left as Cuz really is untouchable, by the way. He's got Stone Plate here on the Volibear, can just hop out. They're nearly going to kill Olaf on the backside as closer. Getting a little bit too close, but it's going to be okay in the end.
Trying to do what his name says.
Yeah, exactly. He's trying to close the distance with the Z.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, KT, they are going to survive for the moment, and the goal discrepancy is not super big in relation to how these two team comps are going to fight. Vladimir's now at 4 items, which he now has the Twin Shadow, which is going to help out his teammates a lot. Very important for Volibear to get that Stone Plate, so when he ults in, everyone just ignores him anyway, and then the active falls off. You know, it'd be a sin to get Locket of the Iron Solari and give all of his teammates several hundred EHP with the shields.
I mean, we saw him use it in the last fight, and I feel like the only reason why it got much value is because he was literally just running at the turret, right? And they're like, well, I mean, if you're going to do that, then we're going to attack you. And even then, I mean, he was just barely able to get out of there alive. And, yeah, KT, for some reason, after all that, they've taken a very big backseat. They're just playing extremely passively, not looking for too many engages from here, just looking to defend.
And when we look at the level discrepancy, though, this is where T1 is actually getting some of their edges. They have 1 in AD carry, 1 in mid lane, and the top lane is a 3-level discrepancy. So
how did he already hit level 8?
It's, I mean, it's pretty good. Well, he's been a part of a solo kill, or 2 solo kills, right? In a way? No, one.
One, and then they killed the Orianna under the turret that one time.
He does have 314 CS, a lot of that, almost all inside of a side lane by himself. Been a part of some nice team fights as well. 80% KP this game.
I like the from screens away, all more than half your health is just gone immediately.
Do you like that?
Yeah. It's pretty fun. And we're just kind of chilling here, waiting for the objectives once again. We know that neither of these teams are going to set up side lanes to try to look for ganks. Neither of them are going to get too aggressive. And it is eventually going to come down to, 1 or 2 big team fights around those objectives.
Yeah. So we'll see what does happen in the big dance. KT is just trying to buy themselves a lot of time. They probably want to hit that death cap on Ori and play for that. Spear Visage on Olaf, I mean, this is one of those you hate to see it moments where he's really playing for himself with his itemization. Don't know where exactly Soan's going now with his build. Probably going to pick up a Void Staff 4th. I would assume. Ashe has her utility items. Xayah as well finally has picked up the Hex Drinker, which is very nice against the Kennen, Lux, and Orianna. Red buff is being fought over. Can Cuz steal it away? The answer is going to be no. And that's pretty big for the Cloud Dragon fight. Ashe having that red buff on her. Not a whole lot going on. We are definitely in...
Yeah. This is the lullaby state.
Yeah.
If you will. Ooh,
And
he missed that cannon.
This is...
Guess we're going to have Faker in game 2.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, he missed the cannon, so.
To be honest. If we're just being frank.
Yeah.
Well, this is very surprising. KT is just going to keep playing... Oh.
Oh, okay.
Well, not really, yeah.
Oh, how did that... That was kind of cute. Snuck through.
30% ultimate CDR right now. We are starting to get to a pretty scary point in this game. 40% ult CDR. That's definitely gonna do something in some of these fights.
Oh boy. See that Orianna is definitely one of these champions that can respond to a portal jump forward pretty nicely. It's not going to do the same amount of damage as a full-ranged paddle star onto a slept target, but it's a good way to try to fight back and not just give Zoe free damage.
And we'll see. The Baron dance. This is going to be the most important part. And Volibear just running around right now, looking for anything that he can possibly do. Both of these junglers very underleveled compared to some of the solo laners right now. Zoe as well is level 18. So just lots of time being bought. Scimitar picked up by Ashe. And everyone's just playing ping pong with each other. So LCK is not yet really quite evolved to the thought process of manipulating mid and late stage waves in order to induce things. And this is definitely taking a while. But T1 are in a very comfortable position. They can actually keep doing this. They can pick up the Cloud Soul. Vladimir, it looks like, is just going to start up the Baron.
He can't solo that.
Yeah, he can't. There's no, Now T1 going to allocate a couple other members to come over with him.
I mean, maybe?
No, he's losing about 10% HP each time.
Yeah, well,
Or 5.
like 5%? But either way, when the damage is going to come out, it's way too late from KT, as we have no response. None.
That looks like the Mario.
KT.
What is it called? Is it a Goomba? A Goomba when you step on the... Yeah.
Goomba stomp?
Yeah.
Just jump on the head of the Goomba.
That's exactly what the Volibear jumping on Baron looked like.
Yeah. And, yeah, I mean, this is...
Why did you just pick up an Oblivion Orb versus MR stack?
Well, you see the shopkeeper has some recommendations, and
I mean,
he recommends Morellos.
It's really worthy of almost. What is going on? And what is this thought process?
Morellos.
No. It's so amazing to me that Vladimir has the right idea with the Void Step. What? What healing?
No, it's no.
What healing is more important than getting the maximum pen that you can get?
Yeah, I think it's just like a rookie mistake. I don't. He's not thinking right now. I think he might just be on autopilot.
The other thing is, if you really want the Grievous wounds, I mean, you just have Volibear pick up. You either have Volibear pick up Bramblevast or
Kana. He's trying to go 1v2, nearly able to, and he is going to be able to shut down Sowan, but he beats Cuz into an awkward spot. At least the stone plate does 0. And now KT in a little bit of an awkward spot. Looking to try to zone
he got the bubble?
He does, and he's going to 1v1 that Orianna, and that's going to be the end of this fight. The rest of them going to go falling down like flies, as Closer is going to be able to close out the team fight, as now finally T1 will be able to push in and take the win.
Yeah, and the two most important champions to T1's team composition are the ones that stand tall at the end of it. And I'm pretty sure with their AP values, they're able to just completely tap these turrets and bring them down. Yeah, this is going to be a very easy pickup for T1. So, Closer in his debut performance going to be 5-0-4. He did lose to Shopkeeper, but Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Not the end of the world. And that's going to be the game for T1. And we'll see if he actually manages to stay in for game number 2. It doesn't look like he's picking up any of his equipment.
I'd imagine they'd give him another shot. I don't think that...
Oh, I don't think he performed badly.
Yeah, and I think the fact that T1 would even let him play, you know, we were talking about standings and how important it is right now for T1 to perform every single day. The fact that they would even let him play, I think, shows that they are willing to take the risk of putting in a rookie player versus a veteran.
Yeah.
And just saying, like, you played good in game 1, sure, take a second game. We don't, you know, we're fine. We don't really need to put in Faker right now. Now, if he got dumpstered, then I think we'd probably see him come out. But
yeah.
Definitely not the case here. And, yeah, you know, honestly, that game, we didn't have a lot of action.
No.
It kind of just looked like two teams that were heavily opposed to fighting, pacifists. And then finally, because of Kana pressing the issue, we had them bait in KT and eventually give that win in the team fight over to T1. Took 37 minutes, but it was the slow climb up to about 8,000 gold there on the side of T1.
Yeah, and we'll see what ends up happening in game number 2. Because I felt like this game went very slow, especially for T1 when they got a commanding lead. Mostly due to the nature of their comp. You have to wait for the Vladimir, wait for the Xayah to start getting ahead, but they also fell behind early. So we'll see what T1 can do on red side. Maybe they can get a little bit more of a proactive or explosive team composition and manage to do something with it. But KT, that wasn't a great look of a game.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't. They had those early leads, and then they kind of just fell apart and didn't really do anything with them around the middle stages of the game. So kind of hoping that they can pull it back there for game 2 and make it a little bit more competitive with their lead. But either way, guys, we'll be back after this quick break.
공업사 노플 도전 색깔 봐 다음은 끝난다
노플
나이스 끝내자 미드
바텀이 빠르대?
바텀이 빠르겠다
오케이 바텀 가보자
바텀
이번에 애쉬 노플
미는 거 빨라 이거.
이거 헤드셋 벗지 말고
그럼 헤드셋 벗으면 안 돼.
네 안 보여
넥 컨트 무너질 때까지 내가 이미 한번 경고 받아놔가지고 라인 밀러 라인 같이 내려야 돼 미니언이랑 나이스
끝난 거 같아.
나이스
나이스. 좀만 때려도 되냐? 변화?
아니
아니다.
길 조작하려고 있어.
미안.
아, 버튼 안 되구나.